Hello, children. I do hope that you are enjoying the stories I have been telling. Here is another story written by Fiona King called When Santa Got Stuck in the Snow. It was the morning of Christmas Eve, and all the elves were hard at work finishing off the toys ready to load into my sack. The snow was falling steadily in Lapland, and it was lying deeply. It had already reached the sills of the workshop window. "Looks like it's snowing more heavily," said Mrs. Santa. "I'll get out your thermals for you, Santa. You'll need them tonight." I went over to the window and looked out. "Yes, and I'll dig out my thick socks to wear inside my boots," I said. I glanced over at the elves in the workshop. "We'll need to load up early tonight," I called. "With this heavy snow, it will take us more time than usual." The elves continued to work as fast as they could, eager to finish on time. The day flew by, and in no time at all it was 4 o'clock. The last toys were finished, and all were wrapped up and stowed away in my sack, ready to be loaded onto the sleigh. Then it was out into the barn to harness up the reindeer. An evening mist was descending, and I gave Rudolph's nose a little rub. "We'll need you to guide us tonight, my boy," I said. The elves and I worked together, leading each of the reindeer into position in front of the sleigh, before returning to the workshop to drag the heavy sack through the snow and load it onto the sleigh. And then it was time for us to be off on our way. I took up the reins, gave a cry of "mush," and the reindeer tensed, ready to run. But nothing happened. The reindeer tensed and strained, but still nothing happened. The sleigh was stuck fast in the snow. I looked round anxiously. "Mush!" I cried again. Still nothing happened. "What's the problem?" I said to the reindeer. Rudolph looked round. "We're stuck in the snow," he explained. "We can't pull the sleigh out. It's sunk in too deeply." I looked down. The sleigh was indeed stuck in the snow. "What are we going to do?" asked Dasher. "We'll have to get Mrs. Santa and the elves to get digging," I said. I called out to Mrs. Santa to bring out all the elves with shovels and to dig. After an hour of digging, the sleigh was still stuck fast in the deep snow. I scratched my head. "This is taking far too long," I said. "We need a plan." So Mrs. Santa and I, the elves and the reindeer all scratched our head and tried to think of a plan. "I know," said Eric the elf. "Let's use bigger shovels." "Great idea," said Eliza elf, "but we're too small to use bigger shovels." Meanwhile, Eddie and Eliza elf had stopped scratching their heads, and they were busy building a snowman. "Perhaps if you took us out of our harnesses, we could dig too," suggested Prancer. So I unharnessed all the reindeer, and they joined in digging the snow away too. "We'll never do this in time," sighed Eric elf, his face reddening as he shovelled. And then, "Hang about! What are you up to over there, Eddie and Eliza?" The elves, the reindeer, Mrs. Santa and I all turned to find Eddie and Eliza standing next to 4 large snowmen. "What have you been doing?" I asked. "You know the other elves have been hard at work whilst you've been playing." Eddie and Eliza looked at the reindeer Vixen. "But we've got a plan, Santa," they all chorused. "What is your plan?" I questioned, not convinced that they really had a plan at all. "Just watch," they said. And with that, Vixen, who is a reindeer with magical powers, went over to the 4 snowmen and touched each of them with her nose. At that, they sprang into life and began a snowball fight. The 4 snowmen scooped up the snow around the sleigh, and huge snowballs flew through the air. In no time at all, the area around the sleigh was cleared. Eddie, Eliza and Vixen looked very pleased with the results of their plan and began to dance around with glee. The other elves and reindeers joined in the dance with them until I shouted, "There's no time for that now, we need to get going, we've got presents to deliver." With that, the reindeers all lined up to be harnessed, and I once again took the reins. "Mush!" I cried, and the reindeers ran and lifted the sleigh up into the starry sky. We were off at last. Well, that's all for now. I'm off back to my workshop. If you have enjoyed this story, don't forget to ask your parents or carers to give any money they can to Duckingfield and Stalybridge Rotary Club via the link on their Facebook page. Merry Christmas!